The message that I received is that presence now is not enough. Now we're stepping up. It's not just a matter of being present. We need to invite in the fifth dimension.
You will be experiencing love like you have not experienced love in the beforeness. You will experiencing joy like you have not experienced joy in the beforeness. This is much of the excitement, and we are here to be of the welcoming, because we are existing in the next of the evolutionary construct of your reality scape. And in essence, we are helping to bring you forward through this, what you would think of as of the metaphorical nature. We are placing our hand out and helping you to step through of the veil, to help you to step into this most expanded nature, where you are much closer to infinite possibilities, infinite of the potential nature of the next evolutionary construct and reality of your species. This is much of the excitement.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Galactic Guidance with marcusbird. Hi, Marcus.
Hey, Eleni, great to see you. Lovely to be here.
Good to be here. I am excited to hear what Ameed will bring forward today.
Who
Do you have any
knows?
idea?
I
Any
have
idea
no
what?
idea. As I mentioned, I've been sort of a bit busy. Often I'll meditate before we do this, and she'll often talk to, give me a bit of an insight as to sort of what the thread is going to be. But today I was, being a human, running from one thing to the next. And here I am. So I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Okay, let's see what happens.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right.
And
So,
yeah,
whenever you're ready to connect
let's
into
do this.
Ameed,
Yeah,
and then I
sounds
can
good.
explain as to what's going on. So, Marcus is now connecting to a higher dimensional being called Ameed, who is from the Lyra star system. And Marcus has been connecting to this particular being for the last 3 decades. And every week we get together and he brings forward Ameed, who is a female energy, and we have a beautiful conversation together about whatever Ameed thinks that the audience needs to hear at this point in time.
Much of the joyness that we are being in of this sacredness of the moment, and we are always being liking to be of the reminding of the sacredness of every of the moment, Miss Eleni. Because this is much of the importance. We are wishing for you in this of the transition to be more of the focus, more of the aligned into your expanded consciousness self. This is one of the aspects of the human experience that you have not maybe been as connected or given as much of the focus to be of the understanding of the nature of the consciousness. And in this of the moment, you are in of an expansion of a physical dimensional reality, but also of a consciousness density of the reality scape. Therefore, your connection to and your ability to expand your what you are thinking of is your awareness and your connection to the consciousness state of universal construct is becoming much more of the easier. And therefore, as you be in of the expansion, you will be able to be sensing more, feeling into of the more, seeing more of the colors, more of the experience. And even, Miss Eleni, in your time where you are in the awareness, you would have started to be of the experiencing this. And we are being seeing you of the dancing, and in of the dancing you are experiencing more of this expansion, more of this consciousness awareness, and we are of the understanding that when you are in of this environment, you are wanting to be much of the consciousness, you are wanting to be much of the presence, so that you could be taking in all of the energetic construct. Because is it not of the truth that this journey that you are on was a journey of expansion, of welcoming in more of the newness of the you, not so much of the newness, but of the more of the you, embracing more of the you-ness, and we are much of the excitement to be watching you being of the embracing of the you. This is a consciousness expansion journey that you have been in the onness, but all others are being in on the onness in this of the moment. So as you are being here in the presence and as you are watching this in dimensional time and space, we would be of the encouraging to help you to be in of the expansion of the consciousness state, therefore becoming more of the awareness, becoming more of the presence, and allowing yourself to be opening up to more of the colors, more of the sounds, more of the feelings, more of the energy. This is what is being of the presented to you in this of the moment. This is what we are meaning by the expansion of and the transition into the next dimension of the reality scape. Because you've got to be of the understanding, you need to be of the understanding that the next dimensional frequency state is more of the expanded. Therefore, you have more of the colors, more of the sounds, more of the sensing. And we have been talking about this in the before. This is what is being of the happening, Miss Eleni.
Mm. So, what you're saying to me is that in order to be more in that expansive state, we need to be more present in
Mm.
movement, in what we see, in what we feel. Is that what you're saying?
Be more of the what you are considering of the purposeness, or the purposefulness, and what is of the happening. And this will be happening, what you might be thinking of by the accident or by the nature of the reality. But if you are wishing to expand much more in the quickness, much more in the fastness, if you are here to meet the next dimension of the reality scape, and rather than being what you might think of being pushed into, you can be journeying into in of yourself. Therefore, you are meeting the next dimensional reality of existence that is now being in of the present moment. The past of the reality scape is now what you might be considering of the collapsing. It is breaking down in this of the moment. Therefore, when you are caught in this of the world, you will be feeling that things in your life are beginning to be of the breaking down. Because what is in actuality happening is old of the patterns, old states, old of the beliefs, old of the thought patterns are starting to be of the breaking down. Therefore, some of you might be feeling of the fractured nature of this breaking of the down. Therefore, if you are wishing not to be feeling in of the breaking of the down, then it is much of the encouraged to step into the next dimension of the reality scape. Therefore, Miss Eleni, being of the presence, being of the purposefulness, allowing yourself to open up to seeing more of this experience of colors and of the sounds and of the sensing. Therefore, if you are spend some of your time when you are not in of the third dimension of the reality, when you are not doing of the practical nature of the third dimension of the reality, and you have the moment where you can be of the focus nature, then you can be focusing on the next dimension of the reality scape, and some of you being of the calling this of the fifth dimensional state. And when you are focusing on this fifth dimensional state, this more expanded state of the reality scape, then when you are sitting quiet, when you are being of the focus, when you are being of the presence, when you are being on the purposefulness, you will be able to experience the expansion of the color palette, the expansion of the sound frequencies, the expansion of your sensory system. Therefore, you will be feeling into more of what is going on in and of the around you. You might be, for example, Miss Eleni, you might be sitting next to a tree and you'll be feeling into of the tree and the tree will be feeling into of you. And you may even have of the communication with the tree and you may even hear it either of the speaking to you or emitting of a frequency sound, or you might even be looking at the tree and you'll be thinking to yourself, wow, the colors of the leaves are different. They are brighter, maybe even more different, and maybe not just of the green color, but maybe even a slightly purple of the tinge, or a red of the tinge, or a blue of the tinge. You will start to be noticing a more expanded reality. So yes, Miss Eleni, when you are in of the presence, but not just in of the presence, but in of the awareness and of the invitation of the what you are calling the five-dimensional expanded state. Because in this of the state, it's not just a matter of being of the presence, which is obviously of the importance, but also of the invitation. Because this is of the invitation to step into this dimension of the reality scape. Therefore, when you are sitting there in of the presence, Miss Eleni, we would then be asking that you are being imagining or being of the saying to the self, I am now giving permission to step into, to invite into the fifth density, the fifth dimensional state of reality. And I am going to allow myself to experience the expansion of the colors and of the sounds and of the feelings and of the sensing. I am going to allow myself to be fully in of the experience of this, and I am not going to be in of the judgment, and I'm not going to be in of the worry, and I'm not going to be in of the fear. I'm going to be in of the excitement. I'm going to be in of the inquisitive nature. I am going to be in of the child aspect, as if I am entering into a new space that I have never been in of before. And like a child, I am going to be of the excited. I am going to be of the dancing, and I'm going to be of the singing. This is what we are mentioning, Miss Eleni.
So what I'm hearing is that it's not enough now just to be in presence, but when we are sitting still in presence, we need to then invite ourselves to step into the fifth
Mm,
dimension. And by
mm,
stepping into the fifth dimension, we then become closer to the vibration of reality.
Yes, this is of the truth, of the next reality scape. And in actuality, you are just inviting the fifth dimension to surround you and you to surround it and to blend into this reality. Because what is in actuality of the happening space is that density of reality is already overlaid into your experience of the world. It is already of the here-ness. So now it is about expanding past the old third dimension of the reality scape, where you are thinking that you are only seeing of the certain colors and only seeing of the certain sounds and only experiencing of the certain things. And now be allowing yourself to expand and step into, as you are saying, or invite into this next dimension of the reality scape. What you will be also of the experiencing is that you will be feeling it is of much of the lighter nature. It is much more of the gentle nature. It's much more of the, if we were thinking of maybe even of a color, it's much more of a purple nature. But very much of the softness and of the gentleness. And what you will find there as you are stepping into this space is some of the old truths that you have been holding on to will no longer be able to exist. Some of the old untruths that maybe you have been holding on to will no longer be able to exist. So as you are in of the invitation, therein of the presence, stepping into this next of the dimension, what you might also be of the experiencing is of a clashness of it in of the beliefness, where all of a sudden something that you are thinking being of the truth now no longer is relevant and no longer in of the truth. Therefore, there is a shedding of untruths and a welcoming in of expanded truths. This is much of the excitement.
Yeah, that is exciting. What you describe in terms of the fifth dimension, I'm able to access that, with psilocybin, mushrooms,
Mm,
and so on, plant medicine. But the I guess the opportunity is to access all of that without plant medicine.
What you will be experiencing, Miss Eleni, is what you might be considering a journey towards that full state that you have been of the experiencing. So you may not necessarily experience the fullness of the plant medicine experience. However, you will experience a journey between here and of the there. Therefore, like you did of the experience, you will see more of the truthness. You will see more of the colors. You will see more of the experience. So in some respect, you will get much closer to that without having the need to experience it through of the plant medicine. In of the past, you and this of the human experience has had to have the assistance to break free from this of the dimension, to then be able to be in of another of the dimension, the more expanded version of the dimension. But because of the shift, because of the changes, because of the evolutionary process that you have once again entered into, you will now be able to start seeing and of the experiencing some of these of the effects without much of the assistance. Therefore, when you step into this of the space, if you then decide to be having of the assistance, you will see even more than you have seen in the beforeness. even more of an expanded experience. And if you're thinking, Miss Eleni, wow, that was amazing of the experience. Once you step into this of the dimension and it fully of the integrates, then when you are doing the next evolution of the plant medicine as you are speaking, you will be expanding even further than you were expanding in the beforeness.
Mm.
This could be of the exciting, Miss Eleni.
Okay, okay. So it feels like from the way that you're speaking, Ahmed, that this is just like, it feels very close. Like, is that your perception?
This is much of the closeness. This time is much of the drawing of the nearness. And there will be many of the shifts that will be happening, and everything that you are thought you are knowing, and that you thought you were sure, and you thought you were was very solid, and of the anchor will be starting to break away, so that newness can be embraced. Because what you must be of the understanding is that everything that is to be of the creation, to be in of this next of the dimension, has already been of the created. Everything that you require to be in of the existence in of the next dimension of the reality scape, even those things you are thinking of as the practicality, has already been created. It is already in of existence. So those practical things that you might be of the thinking of, things around of your currency exchange, things around of your healing abilities, all of these aspects are already created, already ready for you in this of the dimension. There is nothing that you need to be of the creating. It is just a process now of letting go of one aspect and embracing another aspect. But as we move much closer to the fulfillment of this experience, if you are not allowing the old to be of the dissipation, to be letting go of the oldness, this includes old constructs at a physical nature. It includes old thought patterns at a mental nature. It includes old emotions at a heart nature. Then you will be finding it is a bit of the struggle to step into it, and there might be some of the pain that is coming on that, because the pain is only from the resistance. If you are letting go of the resistance and welcoming in this next of the dimension of reality, then there will be no of the pain. And there is no of the worry or of the concern, because everything that is required is already in existence. Everything has already been of the created. You are now needing to embrace this new of the creation. So as you see practical constructs starting to break away, do not be of the worried, because the next construct is already of the created.
Mm.
Time is much drawing of the nearness, Miss Eleni.
Wow, exciting times, exciting
Mm,
times, exciting times.
yes,
Thank you
very
so
much of the
much,
excitement.
Ahmed.
Much
Is
of
there
the
anything?
love, much of the joy. And this is when we are talking much of the love and much of the joy, you will be able to experience anew of the expanded reality of what we are meaning with the much of the love and much of the joy. Mm, the much greater expanded nature. You will be experiencing love like you have not experienced love in the beforeness. You will experiencing joy like you have not experienced joy in the beforeness. This is much of the excitement, and we are here to be of the welcoming, because we are existing in the next of the evolutionary construct of your reality scape. And in essence, we are helping to bring you forward through this, what you would think of them as of the metaphorical nature. We are placing our hand out and helping you to step through of the veil, to help you to step into this most expanded nature, where you are much closer to infinite possibilities, infinite of the potential nature of the next evolutionary construct and reality for of your species. This is much of the excitement.
It is. And I'm so grateful that you have been here consistently to guide, to support. So grateful for you, Ahmed, and so grateful for
Mm,
Marcus who's bringing you forward. Thank you so much.
much love, much joy. Oh, well, I don't know why I'm just. Oh, there you go. I'm back.
Oh, that was
Oh,
beautiful. It
yeah.
felt like she came in very specifically
Okay.
to give me a very specific message, but of course, as she gives me a message, it's a message for everybody,
Yeah.
which is the message that I received is that presence now is not enough. Now we're stepping up. It's not just a
Mm,
matter of being present. We need to invite in the fifth dimension.
mm, yeah. Yeah. I think you're right. Because I think that's an active participation in it. Do you know what I mean? Like, whereas presence is just a, well, I'm just here waiting. Do you know what I mean? Like waiting for something to
Mm,
happen, almost waiting to, it's like sitting at the bus stop going, oh, well, I'll just wait for the bus. Whereas when we invite it, it's almost like we're calling the bus forward and it just arrives and we're stepping on the bus. Yeah.
mm.
So, yeah, I
And
agree.
then once we step on that bus, like what we're going to experience is like a completely different timeline.
Yeah, totally. Totally different timeline. More expanded. And yeah, certainly what she said to me is, it's almost like more gentle and caring and I don't know, just yummy. That's how I take it
Mm,
personally. Just that sort of, it's like it feels yummy. Not as
yeah,
harsh, as the one we've been in, which always
yeah.
felt really harsh and, like, yeah, like these edges. It always had an edge to it. And I think what I get about this next one is the edges around it. Do you know what I mean? Like they're not sharp edges anymore.
I love it.
That's nice. Hey, let's have
Oh,
that.
that was a
Let's welcome that in.
beautiful. Let's welcome that in. Let's welcome in softer
Yeah,
edges.
yeah,
Let's welcome in the softness, the gentleness, the what she said, the vividness of the color
yeah, yeah,
of the
yeah,
trees, of the water, of
yeah, yeah.
everything as it really
Everything.
is, as it truly
Yeah,
is, not
yeah.
through the screen that we see it through,
No,
which is
no.
murky.
That's
It's
it.
time
It
to
is.
see the clarity.
Absolutely. Yay. So exciting. Well, thank you,
Thank
Eleni.
you,
Thank you
Marcus.
for helping facilitate this. I really appreciate
That
it.
was really beautiful. That was a really beautiful message.
Thank you.
So thank you so much.
Yay. No worries. Thanks,
Thank
everyone.
you. Bye.
Ciao. Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to Galactic Guidance. We hope that the messages that you receive from the higher realms have brought you clarity, insight, and comfort. Please like this video and subscribe to this channel. Remember to stay connected to your own inner guidance and trust the journey ahead.